despite having the most wins in both the AL and all of Major League Baseball, 52 of them for New York, no longer the best winning percentage.
You expect your front offices to hit that gas pedal when it comes time to get a better team on the field post All-Star break, because the one thing that you know from the Yankees and the Orioles is what, Ben? You're going to fight with each other throughout the stretch here, and you want home field advantage.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
You know, this guy is the mad scientist. I mean, he's all about green density. So in my mind, I feel like he's going to have the green speeds dialed in, and Bengals needs to land them and all that sort of stuff. I feel like he's going to be a good spot and playing the course well. And he's going to be hitting less club into a lot of these par threes too. So I just, we're talking about using a live guy. I love Bryson this week. I'm riding with Bryson.
Only on SportsGrid.
This new sports integrity partnership, Genius Sports, is involved in this. More protection.
They said that's going to allow them to beef up their protection and add more integrity monitoring tools to essentially catch bad behavior before it happens. This comes, obviously, after a just ton of scandals we've had across sports betting lately, whether it's the MLB umpire, Pat Hoberg.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Despite me being a Yankee fan, I think Joe would deserve the label as Aaron Judge's biggest fan, not through any bias, but just through the amount of money that he's made anybody who's been betting on him.
I just had him for that home run, and I'm going to go back to it today. That home run coming in at plus 230. Max Fried here, while he has been strong, this is Aaron Judge.
GameTime Decisions, only on SportsGrid.
And welcome and a very happy Friday to you. It is Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Raineri, and we've got Major League Baseball back in action. Every team in play except for the Milwaukee Brewers and the Minnesota Twins here tonight. And boy, oh boy, should be fun. We've got 12 of the games scheduled here of the interleague type. And, of course, there's going to be a lot of teams here looking in order to be able to make a big run in the second half and secure their place in a postseason, an expanded postseason here tonight. So we've got a lot on those games coming up. We also have an ability to be able to look ahead here and getting ready to start in the summer league action in the NBA. Plenty of games going on. In fact, Dallas and Boston underway right now, but we are getting ready for the Hawks and the Bulls to do battle here. And it's been a very disappointing, to say the least, week for the Hawks summer league squad. They can't score, and that's a problem here, including getting the first overall pick, Zach Richache, not exactly lighting it up, although he sat Wednesday, and that team lost to the Lakers, handing them, of course, the first win that they have had this year, but that's a story for a different day. Atlanta's still looking for that first win, and they'll look to do it against the Bulls, who started the summer league pretty hot here, guys. Things were beginning to look up for the Bulls. They dropped 96 against the Bucks, who have let pretty much anybody who's played the Bucks at this point score nearly 100 points. But then they scored 82 and 72. And quite honestly, for both of these teams, a lot of question marks heading into the offseason into the regular season, which it's hard to believe as we sit here on July 19th. We are just about 2 months away from the NBA kicking back up. It's kind of crazy, but the Summer League at least gives us a pretty good idea at what we might have in store for some of the youth and some of the future players in the association. Knicks taking on the Pistons a little bit later. The 76ers also taking on the Spurs. And then, of course, my Miami Heat will be in action. And they are yet to lose a game here in this summer league action as they're going to take on the Toronto Raptors. So we've got plenty in the summer league going on here today. We also have a big WNBA All-Star weekend, and it begins tonight with a skills challenge. And, of course, everyone is going to want to know, wow, is there going to be a three-point shooting contest? And is Caitlin Clark and is Ionescu going to be in there? And the answer is no, absolutely not. Neither will be playing in this exhibition here tonight in a three-point shooting contest. And fans are kind of bummed about it. We're going to talk to the coach, James Young, a little bit later this hour, get his thoughts on maybe what he likes in this skills competition here. But it was definitely confirmed fans are not going to have a chance to see Sabrina Ionescu or Caitlin Clark go at it here. Nobody seems to know why. There hasn't been a reason, given that the two most prolific three-point shooters in the WNBA won't actually be participating in the WNBA Skills Challenge. But there are a bunch of others that will. Alicia Gray, Jonquel Jones, Kayla McBride, Marina Mabry. There's a bunch that will, in fact, be participating in the competition here tonight. Of course, giving way to the game tomorrow when you are going to have Team USA taking on Team WNBA. So it should be a very interesting couple of days here between the NBA Summer League and the WNBA, because as soon as this is done, don't forget, we've got the Olympics, and that means the WNBA will have a little reprieve, a little break here for a couple of weeks. They'll resume in August, of course, and then eventually work their way to crowning a champion. So big weekend on the hardwood here, both for NBA Summer League teams as well as the WNBA. Also, it's been a big couple of days so far in the Open Championship. If you've been following along, if you have been like our good friend Keith Stewart, who is going to join us here coming up and getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning to figure out what in the hell is going on across the pond. Well, Shane Lowry is what is going on right now. And my goodness, kind of doing it all right here. He's got himself a nice little lead. And the big question is going to be, can anybody catch him at this point? I think that's really going to be the big question here. And Keith's going to stop by and see if he can point us in the right direction at maybe any plays. As you see, Scotty Scheffler still up there on the odds board, but not necessarily doing a whole lot of great things out on the course. He did have his second straight round of 70. I believe he's pretty much just been parring his way around there, but that's not going to stop the public from going ahead and betting him at this particular point. And really, the old guy, the old man, Justin Rose, seems to be getting a lot of love here. Can he do 4 rounds of craziness? Don't forget, Shane Lowry is already an Open champion, by the way, so this is not unusual for him. He is, without a doubt, if he continues to putt the way he is, and if he continues to manage the bad shots and recover from like he did on the 11th hole today, he is exactly the kind of guy that can take this thing wire to wire. But he does have a 2-shot lead right now at the Open Championship. And we'll talk to Keith coming up and get more thoughts on what's happening there. We do have a bunch of Major League Baseball games that are going to start here shortly. And we got some big games coming up here tonight, including the Yankees going to be taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Both teams trying to do battle here in the American League East. The Rays coming in the first half at just about 500. They have certainly been playing their best baseball heading down the stretch. Zach Eflin will take the mound for him here tonight. The Rays are getting some reinforcements back. If you haven't noticed, Shane Baz back in the rotation for him. Taj Bradley, now Zach Eflin. They have plenty of arms. The question is, can they win enough games here in the second half, and can they beat the better teams? For all the faults of the New York Yankees, they're still 18 games over 500 at this point, and there is no doubt that Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner and company will no doubt try to improve this team over the next couple of weeks. That trade deadline is coming up quickly, July 30th. So as you can see, the Yankees are definitely going to be in a battle in the American League East. They are still the favorite to win the American League East, and Baltimore has got himself a pretty interesting game coming up here to start that second half. Listen, everybody starts on the same page this time of year. All the bullpens are rested. All the arms are rested. So this is really just a matter of getting up and getting at it here, and you'll see it tonight with Baltimore as well, traveling to Arlington to take on Texas. Can the Rangers get it going here? Though them too have been playing their best baseball as of late. Baltimore, well, they were a ridiculous play away from being swept by the Yankees heading into the break. They get to start anew here tonight as well. So we got much going on heading into this weekend as Major League Baseball is back and will be back to talk some Open Championship when Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta. It's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live.
I feel like when there's this wind in this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
OMG, what did we just witness? Our first ever double playoff in Live Golf history. I am so pumped up right now.
So much happened on the last 5 minutes. I mean, it looked like it was going to the crushers and Annie Brown winning, and all of a sudden then Abraham holding a chip, David Puig birdie eight, then that little putt from Annie Brown on the last. I mean, it was great watching.
You know, it's really amazing to be able to do it in your home country, in front of my family, in front of so many friends, and on my favorite golf course. So it's obviously super nice.
All right, welcome back in on this Friday Game Time Decisions here on the Sports Grid Network. I'm joined by our good friend Keith Stewart here, who is no doubt messed up his entire sleep cycle this weekend just to be able to deliver the goods on what is so far I don't want to say head-scratching Open Championship, but I don't know a lot of people that had Justin Rose or Daniel Brown just a couple of shots off of the leader, Shane Lowry, who I guess we shouldn't forget he's a claret jug champ, like he is a Open champion. So that's not as big a surprise as how many people didn't make the weekend here, Keith. We were just talking about, and we're talking about a ton of big names here.
No, absolutely. I mean, 13 of the top 20 in the official World Golf rankings were in that AM, PM wave, and they got decimated. So, I mean, a lot of people are going to point towards Rory and Tiger shooting high scores, but they both beat Wyndham Clark, right? And he's a major champion. You've had guys like Fleetwood that were on everyone's bingo card. Hatton, another guy, all of them gone for the weekend. It's been impressive how the guys that did make it through this wave, like a Justin Rose, they played pretty amazing golf. John Rahm, the guy was solid for somebody who hasn't shown up all year in a major. He sits there at +1, and he's still sitting inside the top 20. The guy's live for this weekend because a lot's going to happen over the next 2 days and 36 holes.
So what do we know about the weather heading into the weekend? Are we still looking at pretty much what we've got the first cut, more like today? Is there going to be any chance it clears up for these guys at some point on the weekend? What do we know?
Well, at this point, I've become a mini meteorologist this week in many ways, right?
Yeah.
But tomorrow is going to be much better than it has been for the last 2 days. We're still going to have this same wind coming out of the southeast, but it's going to be about half of the speed that we have seen over the last 2 days, especially in the afternoons, where these guys were playing in 20-mile-an-hour winds with 30-mile-an-hour gusts, and they were just getting blown away this afternoon. It is going to be much more in the single digits. We do expect a little rain between 2 and 4 p.m. tomorrow, but you know what? It's Scotland, and these guys are great in the rain. That's not going to throw them off by much, but it is going to play much, much easier over the next 2 days if the forecast holds up. And if that's the case, then where Shane sits at 7 and the guys that are behind him, specifically somebody that's 5 strokes behind him, which is the number 1 player in the world, Sugar Shane is going to have to keep moving forward if he plans to hold off Mr. Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, kind of crazy. I mean, Justin Rose, getting like a fine bottle of wine. He seems to be always around these tournaments when it matters the most. And I think he was the only player from that morning afternoon wave to be under par this point here. So, I mean, unbelievable job. And I could not be more impressed at the way that Lowry's been doing it, especially after the 11th hole today, because that could have thrown a lot of guys off. Hitting the provision, knocking it close, then being like, hey, dude, your ball, I think we found it. Oh. Now he's got to go and try to identify it. I mean, a lot of guys would have melted there, but he hasn't, and he's doing it with the putter and his iron play. So he is more than capable of going wire to wire in this, is he not?
Oh, he totally is, and he's got the claret jug to prove it back in 2019, and he did that in his home country of Ireland. But you bring up a really good point. The 11th hole today was a huge turning point for him because all of a sudden, he has the bad shot. It happens. Everyone had bad shots today, especially out there in those conditions. But he rolled that shot up there and easily would have made bogey. And then someone found the ball, and that's when I thought the Irish Bear was going to come out. I mean, I thought he was going to go ballistic because, I mean, he's not looking for that ball. So for the fan to be like, I have your ball over here. He's like, no, I don't, because in the rules of golf, once he abandons that ball, he's good. Like, he doesn't have to go. And he saw where he hit the next shot, which was a really, really nice shot, and he would have saved bogey. But now he ends up over there in this 20-minute delay because somebody went like diving in gorse bushes in order to come out with this thing, right? And then now he's got, where do I drop? Do all these things. 12th hole played really, really hard. One of the hardest holes on the back 9 today because it was back into the wind. He came back and made a par there, and he said it in his interview. He said, that was really, for me, like a huge confidence boost because after I made the double bogey and the 30-minute hole that I played there over next to the railroad, right, it really set him on the road in there, and then he continued to play good. And, him posting that 7 under, the birdie on the last, really looks strong. The iron play, the ball striking, always been Sugar Shane's thing. The putter, not so much. Right now, after 2 rounds, he's ranked 2nd in strokes gained putting. And I know Scheffler's not the greatest putter either, but, man, he is the number 1 player in the world, and he's only sitting a couple back.
And he also drilled that, 40-footer on the 14th today in order to get a birdie. So, he's a guy, I think Horschel in that group. Dean Burmeister is also there. They're all hovering around 2 under par. And of course, Scotty is going to continue to get the money on the board here. But what kind of day do you think they need to have tomorrow to be considered legit here with a shot at winning this thing on Sunday?
I think if someone can get to double digits tomorrow, then they are a legit contender for taking this thing and taking control of the claret jug come Sunday. Now, that for Shane, that's only 3 under. For Scotty, that's 8 under. So legitimately, he has to have a really special day. Now, the weather's set up for that. These guys can definitely take care of this place. It's not that long and it's not that hard if that wind's not blowing. And watch early. The guys that get out there on those first 6 holes and they're going to go 4 or 5 under, Joe, and people are going to start freaking out. I look towards the perfect pal pairing. And that's the 2 boys are always on the buddy trips together. Xander and Patrick are both teed up again at 3:05. They love playing together. They just played 2 days with Tiger. They both played very well. They're both sitting back there at 1 under par. I think they're definitely in striking distance for the weekend. And the fact that they have that really good pairing for tomorrow, I expect both of them to play very, very well and to put pressure on Scotty. And I don't know if that'll fuel him because his pairing isn't as nice as theirs is. And Sugar Shane's going to be feeling the heat from multiple places.
Kind of crazy here. And it's so funny, too. I think if Shane actually wins this thing, I think next year's Open Championship is at the place he won the Cup the first time. And he'd be so there's a whole lot of storylines that going on here. And there's also a whole lot of opportunities, maybe some head-to-heads and some opportunities to make a few bets heading into the weekend. We'll talk more about it when Game Time Decisions continues here on the Grid.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? Been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta. It's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
I feel like when there's this wind at this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
OMG, what did we just witness? Our first ever double playoff in Live Golf history. I am so pumped up right now.
So much happened on the last 5 minutes. I mean, it looked like it was going to the crushers and Annie Barton winning, and all of a sudden then Abraham holding a chip, David Puig birdie 8, then that little putt from Annie Barton on the last. I mean, it was great watching.
You know, it's really amazing to be able to do it in your home country, in front of my family, in front of so many friends, and on my favorite golf course. So it's obviously super nice.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. Keith Stewart joining us here as we're looking ahead to the weekend, the final major of the PGA Tour season here, the Open Championship. Shane Lowry's your leader. He's also your current favorite, although Scotty Scheffler is right up there. So, Keith, talk to us here. You mentioned if somebody tomorrow, and, you know, Shane Lowry is 7 under par, if he can get it to double digits, you think that's good enough to get this done. So what wins this tournament? Give me a number. What are we looking at here is going to be the winner on Sunday?
At this point, I think maybe 12 would definitely win it outright because Shane really is the only one that has a chance to get there. Maybe Rose. That would be 10 under for the weekend for Scotty, which I think that's pretty deep on the major championship golf course. I think that Scotty could shoot 8 under on the weekend, but I think that that's stretching it. The big key is if Shane can move forward tomorrow, then he's going to get tougher and tougher to catch. And I know that sounds like stating the obvious, but it's not that easy to do on the weekend of a major when leaderboard gravity starts to take over and everyone starts to fall backwards. And you've got somebody like John Rahm who played in the bad wave, who obviously played very well to be at +1 right now. And he's going to go off, 9 groups before Shane. So he's going to have this opportunity out in front of him to post a serious number. And if he could put up a 65, like a 6 under 65 or a 7 under 64, then all of a sudden this guy's sitting at 6 under before Shane even finishes the day. And if that's the case, then you start to see all sorts of opportunities in the betting market just start to break down as we come into that Sunday sweat, which is going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah, there are some very big names here. So the guy who can go out and shoot that, who can post that number first, right? I mean, you got guys like Jason Day that are hanging around here. It's good to see him. You liked Patrick Cantlay. We talked about him in the week. He's going to be there Sunday, and he's played very, very well. So who do you think is going to be that guy to go out there and post that number and put the heat on, Larry, whose putter at any moment can go hard left?
Exactly. And I really look toward those guys that are kind of almost a little bit out of reach. In the +1s, you've got Colin Morikawa and John Rahm. I think that they are a big threat. And Patrick Cantlay played beautiful today. He rolled the ball really, really well, and he struck it even better. And this is why I thought Patrick Cantlay was such a good fit this week, is that he's an excellent scrambler and putter. So when he does miss a couple of shots, and he's just driving the ball so beautifully, but when he does miss a couple of shots, he doesn't lose par, right? So he just keeps moving along, and he had that beautiful 3 under on the front today, and he just kept on hitting good shot after good shot when a lot of people were kind of succumbing to the elements or to the pressure, and I really, really liked the way that he played. And now, again, he's playing with Xander, his buddy, tomorrow. Xander, to me, is just doing what Xander always does, which is he'll top 10 at the end of the week, and there you go. But I think Patrick is inspired. He was also like, a lot of people forget this. They always criticize Patrick for not being in the thick of it in major championships. Well, he was at Pinehurst, right? He was in one of those last couple of groups, and he felt that, and then he backed it up with a 5th at the Travelers. He's playing great golf right now. He's healthy. He's ready to roll. And I think he has a good skill set for this place. And, nobody likes the guy. So, he's got the perfect mindset to compete. So, you get paired with him. He's just tough. He's tough. And that's what you need to be. That's the way Tiger was. So I like that. I like Cantlay to make a move. And, he's sitting there at 20-1 right now. So there's definitely some money to still be made on him.
Would 44-year-old Justin Rose winning this be the story of the year?
Wow, the story of the year. I think it's tough to beat Bobby Mack, 2-time winner, as story of the year, because he won the Canadian Open with his dad on the bag, and it was the only time his dad's ever caddied for him. And then he just won at home in Scotland by going 3-3-3 at the end in order. And that victory was robbed by Rory a year ago. I think that's your story of the year. But if Justin Rose, he had to qualify to get into this show. So if he does pull this off, and even if he goes to a top 5, it's one hell of a story. There's no doubt about that. But this is Game Time Decisions, and there's a couple things I'm featuring. You could get Rahm at like +360 for a top 5. I love the way he's playing, and I think he's just going to keep grinding up the board. At a top 20, look at Sepp Straka last year, right? He came in runner-up. He's playing good. He was in the middle of that bad wave, right? +130 for him for a top 20. And then Bobby Mack, we just mentioned him. He's +320 for a top 20. And he had 2 triples today, and he still made the cut. I love the dog in this guy.
Yeah. I think there's some opportunities to to cash a few tickets for sure. Keith, as always, appreciate it. You got it. Let's go. You got tea time in the morning.
one of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
I feel like when there's this wind in this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
OMG, what did we just witness? Our first ever double playoff in Live Golf history. I am so pumped up right now.
So much happened on the last 5 minutes. I mean, it looked like it was going to the crushers and Annie Barton winning, and all of a sudden then Abraham holding a chip, David Puig birdie, then that little putt from Annie Barton on the last. I mean, it was great watching.
You know, it's really amazing to be able to do it in your home country, in front of my family, in front of so many friends, and on my favorite golf course. So it's obviously super nice.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on this Friday on the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Raineri. Appreciate you stopping by as we get ready for a big championship weekend there, the Open Championship we just talked about. And we've got a pretty big All-Star weekend here as the WNBA All-Star game will take place tomorrow. And nobody has his finger on the pulse more with this league than the coach, James Young, in the house. And, Coach, we got a little skills challenge here tonight, but I'm still scratching my head because there's apparently a three-point contest, but there is no Caitlin Clark, there is no Sabrina Ionescu. So what the hell? What? How are we having a three-point contest and the two most prolific WNBA three-point shooters are not there, but they will be there tomorrow for the game?
You know what? And I heard a lot of people talking about this online. And I want to say this. And we're going to knock Sabrina and we're going to knock Caitlin Clark. Then we got to knock Steph Curry for not going in three-point contest. We're knocking LeBron James for never going to the slam dunk contest. We got to knock all those guys like we knocked those girls. Simply put, Joe, you know what it's about? It's about ego. It's about ego. And the girls have it just like the guys. And they got so much to lose if they go into this and Caitlin Clark has one bad round, then here comes the hate, or Ionescu, who I've seen shoot and play a game called red light, green light from the three-point line where you got to miss two in a row to go 5 spots, and the girl shot for 30 damn minutes. So I've seen her shoot. I know she can shoot the lights out. But to me, that's the issue, is that you get these people that are nervous. So to me, when you look at tonight, I'm going to go with the pride of Manasquan, New Jersey, Marina Mabry. She's in both the skill challenge and obviously the three-point shootout. I know Kayla McBride, who leads the league in three-pointers made at 76. You got to go down the line a little bit for Marina Mabry, who is, I think, 8th in three-pointers made. McBride is shooting at 42.7%, so that's why she's it. I'm going to go Chancer, not go chalk. Give me Marina Mabry plus 380 to win.
Well, that's a good number, Coach. I got no problem with that. I mean, there's a ton of still some big names here in the WNBA that are going to be participating here tonight. But there's a lot of hype around the game tomorrow, too, right? So what is it, Team USA versus Team WNBA? That's how they're branding this, and we're going to look at it here. Compared to the NBA All-Star Game, what should we expect with the WNBA All-Star Game? Are we getting a total of 300 here, or how does this work here with the WNBA?
No. This is different. This is different. Number one, these Olympic ladies, this is their obviously their tune-up for the Olympics. Number two, you just got to look at who's on the other side playing, right? Obviously, look at Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Aaliyah Boston. People talk about should Caitlin Clark have made the WNBA All-Star Game. So now this is a little bit personal, right? Because you've had players like Diana Taurasi kind of talk, in a sense, negatively about Caitlin Clark. They've all come back and kind of pumped their brakes because she's playing so well. But you have a situation where you have an Olympic team need to get ready, and then you have another team that wants to show how much they're made of. This is not going to be the NBA All-Star Game. There will be defense. There will be good basketball. But to me, I look at the fact that more than anything, I think I'm going to take Team USA. It was a 4.5 to 5.5. I think they get it done. And then if you do anything, I'm going to go team total over for the Team USA women. You look at the people that they got on that team that are walking buckets. You know, a player like a Kalia Copper. Obviously, Jewel Lord can score. You have Anescu. You have all the size with Asia Wilson or Brianna Stewart. This is the best of the best. Give me Team USA minus a 5.5 and give me their team total over tomorrow night.
Dude, I thought I had to read it twice, but is Diana Taurasi in the All-Star Game? Did she make the All-Star team? How old is she? How long has she been around here, Coach?
Well, here's how it works. So they have polling for the WNBA All-Star Game, right? But then what happens is if you get selected, but you're on Team USA, you got to play for Team USA. So Taurasi is going to play for Team USA. So just so people understand it.
Gotcha.
So really quick, for the WNBA, I'll just read it all real quick. DeWanna Bonner, Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, Alicia Gray from the Dream, Darica Hamby, who's had a great year, a double-double machine for the Sparks, Brianna Jones, Jonquel Jones, Kayla McBride, Kelsey Mitchell, Arike Owumbawale, Anyeka Owumake, and Angel Reese. That is the team for the WNBA All-Star team. And then obviously we have the Olympic team. And remember, Caitlin Clark outvoted. Well, I think Caitlin Clark was number 1. And I think Angel Reese was number 2 in the voting for it. So I just told you how popular these two rookies are. I talked about this earlier on the early line, and Ben corrected me during the commercial break because there's no way they're going to get to 18.9 million. But this will be and should be the most watched WNBA event in the history of the league. I think Ben told me earlier today it's about 5 million people, biggest watch. They should smash that because of the storyline, particularly of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese going against Team USA.
Interesting here. I know I saw a prop I saw online. A bunch of guys were talking about is, will there be a dunk in the All-Star Game? We don't get a lot of dunks during the season, right, in the WNBA, but there's a lot of Brittany Griner bets. Maybe Jonquel Jones being able to get up there, Coach, and slam it down. Are we going to get a couple of dunks in this All-Star Game, you think?
I mean, you may get a dunk just if the game gets out of reach, but I just think it's a little bit different. By the way, Team USA is now up to 6.5. I think they win by 10. So I just want to let people know. Ooh. I think they win by 10 or so.
So you still think it's close?
I still think it's somewhat close. And then you got to start looking at like the recorded double-double. The recorded double-double, Angel Reese plus 110, Asia Wilson plus 130. Caitlin Clark plus 260. I think she dials people up. I actually like her. Plus 260 for Caitlin Clark to get a double-double tomorrow. I think I'm going to put my money on it.
Wow, does that seem that's an interesting number for Caitlin Clark, double-double tomorrow. See, we're going to cash in tickets, Coach. That's what's going on here, my man. Enjoy the weekend, my man. Game Time Decisions. We'll be back after this.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta. It's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
I feel like when there's this wind in this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
OMG, what did we just witness? Our first ever double playoff in Live Golf history. I am so pumped up right now.
So much happened on the last 5 minutes. I mean, it looked like it was going to the crushers and Annie Barton winning, and all of a sudden then Abraham holding a chip, David Puig birdie eight, then that little putt from Annie Barton on the last. I mean, it was great watching.
You know, it's really amazing to be able to do it in your home country, in front of my family, in front of so many friends, and on my favorite golf course. So it's obviously super nice.
Technically, despite having the most wins in both the AL and all of Major League Baseball, 52 of them for New York, no longer the best winning percentage.
You expect your front offices to hit that gas pedal when it comes time to get a better team on the field post All-Star break, because the one thing that you know from the Yankees and the Orioles is what, Ben? You're going to fight with each other throughout the stretch here, and you want home field advantage.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
You know, this guy is the mad scientist. I mean, he's all about green density. So in my mind, I feel like he's going to have the green speeds dialed in, and Bengals needs to land them and all that sort of stuff. I feel like he's going to be a good spot and playing the course well, and he's going to be hitting less club into a lot of these par threes too. So I just, we're talking about using a live guy. I love Bryson this week. I'm riding with Bryson.
Only on SportsGrid.
This new sports integrity partnership, Genius Sports, is involved in this. More protection.
They said that's going to allow them to beef up their protection and add more integrity monitoring tools to essentially catch bad behavior before it happens. This comes obviously after a just ton of scandals we've had across sports betting lately, whether it's the MLB umpire Pat Hobert.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Despite me being a Yankee fan, I think Joe would deserve the label as Aaron Judge's biggest fan, not through any bias, but just through the amount of money that he's made anybody who's been betting on him.
I just had him for that home run, and I'm going to go back to it today. That home run coming in at plus 230. Max Fried here, while he has been strong, this is Aaron Judge.
GameTime Decisions, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Raineri. Very happy Friday to you as we welcome back Major League Baseball in the fold here. Just about everyone in play here tonight except for the Brewers and the Twins. But we have one game already in the books to kick off the unofficial start of the second half, which is kind of laughable since we're already past the midway point in terms of games for this season. But it's going to be a very interesting next couple of weeks because there is a trade deadline coming up, and there are a whole lot of teams where guys are in a locker room right now that have no idea whether or not they are going to continue to be in that locker room, or they're going to have to move themselves or their family someplace else. George Kurtz knows all about that. It's usually a very interesting 2-week period here, Kurtz, for the teams that are already out of it, or these teams. I can't imagine being in that Toronto locker room right now, knowing that you're already hearing guys are on the trade block. You know this team is going to look different. You know, they are humans after all. So a lot of these teams and a lot of these situations, a lot of these guys are taking the field not knowing whether or not it's their last game in that uniform or in that city. So tread carefully here over these next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we do sort of forget about the human element of things, right? These guys have to, I mean, for Toronto, you may have to go to a new country, right? A new country, new city. You know, you might have a family. Where the kid's going to go to school in September, or school starts in, I know for you down in Florida, about a month. Up here in Northeast, maybe 6-7 weeks. Where the kids go, where do we go to eat? You know, where are we going to live? You know, all that stuff that comes into mind. We do forget about the human element. So, yeah, it could be a nervous time over the next 11 days. And remember, there is no August trading anymore as far as a waiver deadline. So everything will pretty much be done by July 30th.
Yeah, it is. And there's a lot at stake here. We're hearing a lot of different needs and wants for teams. But, you know, needing, wanting, and actually executing are two different things here, Kurtz. And there are a number of teams in the mix here that could certainly use a couple of more pieces. The Pirates right now are taking on the Phillies. That game just went underway. And you want to talk about a lack of people, shall we say? Exactly who the hell is playing in this game for the Phillies? It appears that maybe they're going to take a little bit of a breather here. I still liked the Phillies here tonight, but we're talking about almost a $2 favorite here. Were you leaning one way or the other in this one?
It's hard not to like the Phillies. A little 174, and I think it was a little higher when I checked. Is a little pricey for me. I don't generally like to go over the 160, maybe 165 range, Joe. I did look for a parlay partner here, and I think I took it with the Kansas City Royals. You know, so I don't love it either here. I kind of like the over in this game as well. You know, Nola scares me somewhat. He could pitch great, or he can get lit up a little bit. I think the Phillies will get to Martin Perez, so I feel much more confident in that. So give me the over in this game, 8.5, and I have the Phillies parlayed with the Royals.
Yeah, I mean, there are some Pirates sitting out here, and I get it because they got the Cardinals, I think, on deck, which is a much bigger series for them than anything against the Phillies would bring to the table. 15-4 when Aaron Nola starts. That's kind of crazy. 11 wins by 2 or more runs. They're also 7-1 in his road start. So all signs are pointing to the Phillies in a blowout spot here. We'll see if they can get that done. What do we do with the Reds and the Nats here tonight? They're just getting underway. And this is these are two teams here where the Nats overperforming and the Reds underperforming in the first half. It scares me to be laying chalk on the road first game out of the break here.
It's Patrick freaking Corbin. He's going to get hit, right?
How well has that worked? How well has that worked over the last month and a half?
It was great in April. Not so great here in really in June, July, where he's, I don't know, Fountain of Youth, Soul to Soul, Pumpkin at Midnight, whatever it might be here, but he has pitched better here. I would like this game so much better if it was in the Great American Ballpark. No doubt I would take the over. You know, Frankie Montas is not anybody's definition of an ace either here. Sure. Do I think the Reds are going to win? Yeah, I give him the edge, but not enough to take him here. I said I did want to bet the over, but 9.5 at Nats Park, it's a little tough for me to go there. I still sprinkled on it, but a very small bet on the over here. But and I want to go with the Reds here, but right now I just can't pull that trigger. Bottom line is this: I don't trust the Reds. I did pick on the win with division at the beginning of the year. The Nats probably have overperformed a little bit, which is good for them, by the way. But another thing we have to remember, Joe, this is the first game at the end after the break, right? These players have had 4 days off. I don't know who's going to do what tonight, right? Some players are going to show up and be great. Some players are going to be a little rusty here. So the first game, the first couple of games after the break can be a little dicey.
Yeah, and you know that too, because the Yankees taking on the Rays here. You know, the Rays played some of their best baseball finally towards the break. The Yankees seem to have put it together there against the Orioles. I mean, we forget, right? The Yankees are still, 18 games over 500? We're talking about a 500 Tampa Bay team. You got Cole on the mound. It's as simple as that, isn't it not? Am I not taking the better team here in the Yankees?
They're the better team. But remember, Eflin, the last time he pitched against the Yankees, which was just last week, is great. The first thing I thought about in this game when I saw this Cole versus Eflin, I'm like, oh, if the over is 8 or above, I'm going to slam the under here. And it's at 7.5, so I think they got it right here. I think it's a lower scoring game. You know, we know that the Rays, they pitch well. They have trouble scoring. They're a little bit better of late, but still they have trouble scoring. Cole looked great his last outing against Baltimore. Is he back? Is Cole back to being Cole? I think we'll find that out tonight here. I think we're getting a lower scoring game, so I might take the Nerfy no-run first inning here. It's kind of what I like better. Maybe the under for the first 5 innings so we get to the bullpen, see what happens there here. I do like the Yankees tonight, but I don't think it's going to be an easy one. This smells like 3-2, 4-3 at work. Be a close game going down. I don't see the Yankees blowing them out and making this an easy win for us.
And nothing but over money here. Yet the under 13-7 in Tampa Bay's last 20 games here. And it would make sense with Eflin against Cole that maybe the unders across the board tonight are to looking at. I'm just seeing 8.5s popping up here. And I don't know if I'm being baited here, Kurtz, or if the market knows something we don't know. But that is a huge number with Garrett Cole and Zach Eflin on the mound first game out of the break and rested bullpens. Let's not forget that here. So we'll look at a much more of these games, including the Mets coming up here when Game Time Decisions continues.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
I feel like when there's this wind in this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
OMG, what did we just witness? Our first ever double playoff in Live Golf history. I am so pumped up right now.
So much happened on the last 5 minutes. I mean, it looked like it was going to the crushers and Anibal winning, and all of a sudden then Abraham holding a chip, David Puig birdie, then that little putt from Anibal on the last. I mean, it was great watching.
You know, it's really amazing to be able to do it in your home country, in front of my family, in front of so many friends, and on my favorite golf course. So it's obviously super nice.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. Joe Raineri alongside George Kurtz here as we're getting ready here. Off and running. Baseball is back. Couple of games underway here, George. And you and I were just looking at this Yankees and Rays game coming up just after the top of the hour. It is in a lot of spots at 8.5, juice to the under. But I don't get it. This was 7.5, like you had said. We're not seeing any cancellations. It's not like Eflin sitting or Cole sitting. This feels like a dead under game to me. And I know there's a lot of people throughout the country having a hard time maybe accessing their favorite sports book right now, but keep trying because that number is very much available throughout the market. What are we doing with the Mets here in the second half? This too feels a little bit light. Minus 130, Kurtz, for the Mets on the road here, taking on Miami. These are two teams going in two totally different directions in my book here. What are you leaning towards?
I'm on the Mets. I mean, and when I did this earlier today. I think it was minus 126, so it's actually gone up about a dime since I did that. I don't understand it either. It does smell a little bit. We know Miami's not a good team. They're one of those teams that you were talking about in the opening here. They're probably trading people away. All right, so it's got, guys on their last legs here in Miami. Mets are actually, if the season ended today, they would be in a playoff spot. All right, and I don't see any reason why they're going to be, not playing well. Minaya has pitched well of late here. Cabrera is sort of, he might pitch well, he might not. But I don't see any reason why the Mets wouldn't win this game. So, yes, this is one of my favorite plays of the night. Just hurt to say as a Yankee fan. Mets and Minaya over Miami.
All right, Mets and Minaya over Miami. I am with you at a pretty good price there. Speaking of that Toronto team, what do we do with them here, Curse? Taking on Detroit. Jack Flaherty on the mound for Detroit. He's another guy that may not very well. I believe he's got a contract coming up. So he may not be in a Detroit uniform very much longer. But, there's a lot of guys on Toronto that are very much up for grabs here. That team looks like, or at least the organization has decided it's time to move on with some of them. So what do we do? Detroit was playing well. Bassett taking on Flaherty here, and a minus 125, minus 130 spot here for him.
Yeah, Flaherty won't be on Detroit in 12 days. He'll be traded. I don't think there's any doubt he'll be traded. He's a nice comeback year. He should get them a decent prospect hole in return here. So good for them. We're hearing Detroit might trade Skubal. Why?
Yeah.
Why would you build around? I don't understand this. Why would you build around this guy, right? Granted, if you want to trade it, you'll get a hell of a haul, but you got to hope one or two of those guys pan out. You already know Skubal is, if not the best pitcher in the American League, top 3. I mean, what else do you want here? I don't understand if they don't if they move him, but we have the Orioles, the Dodgers, several other teams, of course, are very interested if they're going to move Skubal here. And you mentioned the Blue Jays. Bichette's back in the lineup tonight, but he's that guy who could be on the move, but maybe selling low, right? Because he hasn't played well all year. Guerrero. I wouldn't mind being a Yankee now. Funny, he said for years he would never go to the Yankees. So when it comes to money time, then they'll go to the Yankees. Bassett has pitched well. I think he's another guy who could be moved along with Kevin Gausman. Wouldn't surprise me there versus Flaherty. So I'm going with Detroit. But this is one of those games, by the way, I don't know. Will Toronto, did the 4 days off do them good, Joe? Where they can sort of reset and go for it in the second half? I don't know. Detroit's a so-so team here. I'll go with Flaherty. He's pitched so well. The guy I trust a little bit more here, but I don't have a great feel for this game.
We've got the Guardians coming up against the Padres. Waldron against Beebe in Cleveland at Progressive. Cleveland 30-11 at home at this season here. It's been a great home advantage. Waldron, great against righties, not against lefties. The problem is the Guardians have nothing but switch hitters and lefties they can throw at him. So not a great advantage here for Waldron and the Padres.
Waldron seems to pitch well and lose. That's what he seems to always do here, right? That guy gets screwed. They don't score runs for him. I'm on Cleveland. Cleveland's played so well this year. You already brought up the relevant stats here. 30-11 at home. They're very good against right-handed pitchers here. I like Cleveland. Don't love them with the price at minus 156. San Diego's not a bad team here. But Waldron seems to be that hard luck guy that just doesn't get run support for whatever reason here. So give me the Guardians. I wanted to take the under, Joe. I did. But it's 7.5 again. I think they got it right.
Yeah.
If I said an 8 or above, I'd hit the under hard here. Instead, I just did a small play on the under as well.
We got a 3-0 Phillies lead already now heading into the bottom of the first against Pittsburgh. So that's it. Nola getting a 3-run advantage so far here. We got much more Major League Baseball coming up. George, we appreciate the time as always. Enjoy the weekend. We'll be back another hour next.
one of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
We are in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta. It's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
I feel like when there's this wind in this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
OMG, what did we just witness? Our first ever double playoff in Live Golf history. I am so pumped up right now.
So much happened on the last 5 minutes. I mean, it looked like it was going to the crushers and Annie Barton winning, and all of a sudden then Abraham holding a chip, David Puig birdie, then that little putt from Annie Barton on the last. I mean, it was great watching.
You know, it's really amazing to be able to do it in your home country, in front of my family, in front of so many friends, and on my favorite golf course. So it's obviously super nice.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. A very happy Friday to you. I'm Joe Raineri. Appreciate you stopping by here on this July 19th, as we've got less than 50 days actually before the NFL season and football will consume us. But we do have Major League Baseball back in action after a little reprieve, little all-star break. And we've had one game already finished here today. In fact, Arizona looking to make up some ground here after a sluggish start to the season. They went on the road to Wrigley and took on Steele and company for the Cubs. And, well, they business pounded out 12 hits, 5 runs. They took down the Cubs 5-2. That was the first game back here today. We got plenty getting ready to start right now, although the Phillies... things were looking swimmingly for Aaron Nola, who was given 3 runs in the top of the first for the Phillies, but he has promptly loaded the bases and 1 run in already for the Pirates. So buckle up. This could be the over of the night here at PNC Park. We'll keep you posted on what's happening there. We also have no score now, top of the second, the Reds and the Nats. It is Patrick Corbin Day. Do not bet against Patrick Corbin if you have any money left in your bankroll because you just automatically have been fading Patrick Corbin over the last month. That has not worked out well for you, and I don't trust the Reds and Frankie Montas as far as I can throw them. So I would avoid doing the old customary fade Patrick Corbin night here. We are getting ready, of course, for Garrett Cole. Take them out at home, taking on Zach Eflin with the Yankees and the Rays. The Yankees find themselves in. Listen, if you would have told me we're starting the season, we'll get to the All-Star break, we'll be 17, 18 games over 500. We'll be a half a game to a game out of the top spot. I'd have signed up for that all day long. But there's a lot of warts on this Yankees team. But I don't think the Rays are the team that's going to be able to extend those worries for Yankee fans here. I do think with the bullpens rested, the arms are rested. I think this is over the next couple of starts for Garrett Cole. I think he's had enough time now to shake off the rust. I think this is exactly the kind of game that you would, all things being equal, would have looked for Garrett Cole to back. And if you would have told me you can get him at the price you're getting him right now, less than $2 at home, I'd have signed up for that all day too. And that's exactly what I'm going to do here is I'm going to back Cole early in this game in the first 5. I'm also looking at the under, which was as high as 8.5 here. That game is getting ready first pitch here in just a couple of minutes. Get ready too. Also tonight, we got the WNBA All-Star game coming up this weekend in Phoenix there. That'll be tomorrow. But tonight we got ourselves a little skills competition. And guess who won't be in the skills competition? That's right. Absent on that odds board. Caitlin Clark, not going to be there. Sabrina Ionescu, also not going to be at the skills competition in that 3-point challenge. Why? Your guess is as good as mine. However, Caitlin Clark and company will be there tomorrow in the game, which is a pretty cool twist with Team USA, who didn't think Caitlin Clark was worthy enough to be on. And so she will be on Team WNBA. In fact, I would imagine there are a few people on that WNBA team that probably feel maybe a little chip on their shoulder, maybe a little annoyed that they weren't selected to represent Team USA in the upcoming Olympic Games. So that game should be fun. And we talked to the coach last hour, James Young. He is on the belief that this is going to be one of the most watched WNBA All-Star games of all time. And given Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese going to be out there on the same team, I do think this should be worth the price of admission here tomorrow for that matchup. So that should be a great weekend here when it comes to NBA action. We also have plenty going on in the Summer League, if that's what floats your boat here. Summer League action off and running here. We told you earlier, Atlanta taking on the Chicago Bulls. It has not been good for the Atlanta Hawks here. They're still looking for their first win in the Summer League, and it has been less than ecstatic for their number 1 pick in this year's draft. In fact, wasn't a great draft if you go just by the numbers here on what we have seen thus far in the Summer League. But we have seen some teams do very, very well in the Summer League, including the Miami Heat. They'll be taking on the Toronto Raptors in their Summer League matchup here. And believe it or not, Toronto just took their first loss of the Summer League on Wednesday night. And the Miami Heat, well, they just notched another win. The Heat are still undefeated in Las Vegas in this Summer League, and they just trounced the Mavericks 92-79. Miami's got 2 consecutive games that they've won by double digits, and they also dropped 119 points in a game earlier against the Celtics this season. So Miami and Khalil Ware, their number 1 draft pick, first-round draft pick here this season. Yeah, he looks like he's coming along just fine. Isaiah Stevens, good. Jaime Jaquez Jr. is on the team. Did not play in the last game. So Toronto's team, though, keeping Jamil Sheed. You may know him from Houston, the University of Houston there over the last couple of years. Javon Freeman, Liberty, and Achai Baji are going to be featured tonight for Toronto. So if you need your fill of Summer League basketball, you've got it here tonight on a loaded card. And, of course, the Warriors, who have been one of the best teams in Vegas. They are one of the 5 remaining undefeated teams heading into these games here tonight. And you want to talk about a team that has been firing on all cylinders. This is a Summer League team averaging nearly 95 points a game on offense. I'll repeat, 95 points in a Summer League game. They're shooting nearly 47% and 35% from 3-point range. So this is a offensive machine, what they got rolling out there. So this should be also worth the price of admission. Anytime you get a chance to watch the Warriors in the Summer League, you know you're going to bring it. And taking on OKC, well, that should be interesting too here. Adam Flagler, AJ Mitchell, They too are not getting a whole lot of help here for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and that is why you saw that number, huge number with the Warriors, almost a double-digit favorite. So, yeah, look at that, -7 now, and I wouldn't shock me at all if that continues to go up. And then, of course, the one of the late games here tonight is whether or not the Charlotte Hornets well, maybe they should just pack it in. It has not been going well for Charlotte here. They are just not good right now here, but they do have a lot of hope. And I do think their defense needs a little bit of adjusting as they just got absolutely trounced by the Boston Celtics earlier this week. And Portland, keep an eye on Portland. Portland's defense, my goodness, with the big man clinging from UConn, Portland's got itself a lot of talent, and I am very much going to be looking at their future win total because I do think Portland could be one of the more improved teams in the NBA this season. So plenty of NBA, plenty more Major League Baseball. We've got an update from the Open Championship. Set your alarms. The first groups off and running at about 4 a.m. Eastern time here tonight. We'll let you know what's going on with that, as that's the final major of the PGA Tour season. And we talked to Keith Stewart last hour, and we think there is a ton of opportunity, some great value with some picks here. We'll lay them out for you when we get back here on Game Time Decisions.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
I feel like when there's this wind in this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
OMG, what did we just witness? Our first ever double playoff in Live Golf history. I am so pumped up right now.
So much happened on the last 5 minutes. I mean, it looked like it was going to the crushers and Annie Barton winning, and all of a sudden then Abraham holding a chip, David Puig birdie, then that little putt from Annie Barton on the last. I mean, it was great watching.
You know, it's really amazing to be able to do it in your home country, in front of my family, in front of so many friends, and on my favorite golf course. So it's obviously super nice.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. A very happy Friday to you now as we inch that much closer to, well, the Olympics will be here before we know it. Team USA, certainly the basketball team, going to be very interesting to see how they put this together with stars all over the court there. Not to mention, of course, the women's basketball team. We'll get to see Team USA in action taking on Team WNBA tomorrow in the midsummer. I guess you can consider it midsummer classic of the WNBA All-Star Game. That is coming up. We've got plenty of Major League Baseball, including a trade deadline coming up. We'll get you all caught up with, and maybe a future or two, like whether or not Aaron Judge will hit more than 60 home runs, as he has now already hit in the first half of the season more home runs than anybody in Yankee history here. 63 or more there at plus 500. It's a pretty good look, if you ask me, as he has just been absolutely on fire in the first half of this season. And don't forget, he went maybe the first 3 weeks of the season, maybe even 4, where he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. So he really did not start well at all. We were wondering at one point whether or not he'd ever hit a home run, him and Ohtani, but boy, oh boy, they made up for lost time here. So there are some opportunities here in some of these prop markets to take a look at some things along those lines. And, of course, everyone's going to be looking at Paul Skeens and whether or not he is a Cy Young candidate, whether or not he is, heck, maybe even MVP in some people's mind, maybe Rookie of the Year. There are some opportunities to get behind Paul Skeens, but the problem with Paul Skeens is the problem with all mediocre teams. Okay, and you can see his strikeouts in the regular season. Keeping in mind, they didn't call him up till mid-May. He did not start the year in a Pirates uniform on that roster. So those numbers are absolutely gaudy. But he can average 8, 9, 10 a start. And I think the whole problem with betting Paul Skeens moving forward is how many starts is he going to get? What if the Pirates are out of it by the time we get to the second week of August? If you are the ownership group there in Pittsburgh, if you're the GM, what is your point of rolling out Skeens if you really don't have an opportunity to make the playoffs? And that is the biggest problem and the biggest risk, because I don't think it's a matter of talent. I don't think all of a sudden teams are going to start, well, we've seen him a couple of times and we've got enough video on him now, so we should. No, that's not how it's going to work. It's not an ability. He's certainly very capable of striking out 190 or 200 or more people here before it's all said and done, if he stays healthy enough and if he is pitching through the end of the regular season. And I think that's the biggest worry I would have with betting anything up against Paul Skeens. Listen, you want to bet Paul Skeens to be the Cy Young winner next year, the year after, the next 4 years, be my guest. But I don't trust this Pirates organization to be, or this Pirates team for that matter, to be viable enough or worth backing him, because I do think their season will be over by the time we get to the middle and late end of August, meaning he's not going to have an opportunity and some starts late in this year in order to be able to eclipse those numbers you'd have to bet. But I can tell you this, they weren't the least bit worried about getting right back on the horse here, as Aaron Nola was given a 3-run lead. That's right, a 3-run lead to start the game in the top of the first, and he promptly gave up 3 runs in the bottom of the first. And the Pirates have tied it up. It's now 3-3, 7 hits combined in this game in the bottom of the second. Perez going for the Pirates in this one here. But I do think the over was probably worth a look-see here. We still don't have any score with Patrick. See, this is why you don't automatically fade Patrick Corbin Day. Don't be fooled. Don't get sucked into listen to everybody. Oh, he's the worst pitcher in baseball. No, Dallas Keuchel was the worst pitcher in baseball, which is exactly why Dallas Keuchel is no longer on the Brewers, because they know also he's the worst pitcher in Major League Baseball. The Nats have been very competitive with Corbin on the mound. He is not somebody I would automatically be fading at all. Plus, you got to count on the Reds' bats of doing something, and through 3 innings, they haven't done a damn thing yet. Also, Cole gave up, looked a little shaky there in the top of the first inning. The Rays had a couple of runners on, a single and a walk, I believe, but they were able to get out of it with no harm, no foul. Still 0-0. Yankees coming up there. Mets and Marlins, no score. The Tigers and Flaherty, we certainly think he is going to be the first domino to fall here in the trade market for the Tigers. And I don't understand. We talked to George Kurtz earlier about the Tigers' insistence on trying to trade Tariq Skubal. I don't understand that. But Flaherty, listen, he was a rental anyway. He's going to have to get paid. And I don't know that the Tigers are going to want to pay both guys. So I do think he has an opportunity here to be playing on a playoff team before it is all said and done this year, taking on the Blue Jays, who did not get anything in the bottom of the first. So that, too, is 0-0. Also, Padres and Guardians off and running. Tanner Beebe at home with the Guardians, taking on Waldron and the Padres. No score in that one. They just got it going. Looks like we have a rain delay with the Cardinals and the Braves. So those that were looking forward to that game at Truist Park, looks like that game is going to be delayed. The tarp is on the field here. And I love this Cardinals team in a couple of future bets. I'll go over what those are. Plus, a couple of weekend picks for you in the Open Championship. We'll throw those out as get ready, 4 o'clock in the morning. The third round will begin over at the Open Championship across the pond, and we have got you covered here. Game Time Decisions continues after this here on the Grid.
When it comes to betting on sports, injuries matter, and Sports Injury Central has you covered all year long with expert injury analysis and injury-based picks for the NFL, NBA, and MLB. Our former pro sports doctors have unmatched experience to analyze every injury so you know the impact of the player, team, and their upcoming matchup. Whether it's articles, podcasts, player insights, or our patented injury scores, Sports Injury Central will help you keep up with your fantasy team and make more informed wagers. So make sure you follow Sports Injury Central and gain an edge at sixscore.com.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in. Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network, as we've got still a 3-3 game here with Philadelphia and Pittsburgh going on now. And finally, the Reds were able to score a run off of Corbin, I believe Patrick Corbin right now, but it wasn't because of some great hitting. It was atrocious defense by the Washington Nationals here. But That's a 1-0 situation there. We still have plenty of games coming up to go over, including the Orioles and the Rangers. Also love this, the Houston-Seattle series also coming up. Going to be very, very interesting and go a long way to deciding what's going to happen in the American League West crown. Will it be Houston? Will it be Texas, who's got Baltimore? Or will it be Seattle? Can they muster up enough to hold on and win that division? I think this is going to be a fun weekend series to keep an eye on. And if you want fun and if you want absolute craziness, then get ready. 4 o'clock in the morning, they'll be teeing it up there at the Open Championship. And Shane Lowry, a former Open champion, well, he is once again opened up with a 566. And that could have been a little bit lower, but he got 2 under today in some horrific wind conditions, and now he is 7 under par. He's got a 2-shot lead over the 90-year-old Justin Rose, believe it or not, and another guy that, let's be reasonable, if we're being honest, he will not be there when it is all said and done. But Lowry right now still sitting at the top there of the leaderboard and of the odds board, but you know who's lurking there. Good old Scotty Schiff. And by the way, Daniel Brown, 5 under par, along with Justin Rose. Justin Rose, 44 years old, had to qualify in order to be in this tournament. How crazy is that? But I do think there is an opportunity tomorrow. They call it moving day for a reason. And I think right now, guys like Patrick Cantley, Xander Schauffele, Scotty Scheffler is still way too chalky for my taste, as he is at, 1 under par right now, or 2 under par. The wind is going to die down. The weather is going to be good early this morning, which means the opportunity for somebody to go out and post a couple of low numbers and put the pressure on is very much alive. But I do think you have some great opportunities to jump in some top 5 bets, some top 10 bets with some proven players like Patrick Cantley, like Jason Day, like Xander Schauffele, some of these guys here that you'd be able to jump into. Heck, even Joaquin Niemann has been phenomenal. He is right now tied for 11th at even par. These guys should all be considered. Brooks Koepka, Colin Morikawa, John Rahm. You're getting some great prices on these guys to finish in the top 10 and heck, maybe even top 5. So my suggestion would be before 4 o'clock in the morning, take a look at some of the big names here and don't be afraid to sprinkle a little something on the money line for these guys to come back and win. Although Lowry has set himself up pretty well, it's his putting that has always been his nemesis. And if the putter goes tomorrow and he comes back to the field, that is going to open things up for a lot of very, very good and proven golfers to be able to overtake them. So I do think tomorrow is going to be the most fun at the Open Championship here. Looking forward to getting that going. We also have a couple of more games that are getting ready to get underway, and we should tell you that those that were looking for the Braves and the Cardinals, and I had mentioned earlier, I love this Cardinals team. I love how they are priced, and I love the opportunity that they have to take over the National League Central. Keep in mind, the Cardinals, since May 11th, have had the best record in Major League Baseball, 35-22 since May 11th, and they are just a handful of games out of the opportunity to be able to take over that Central Division. I think the Brewers, that starting rotation and the injuries are going to catch up with them. I think the Cardinals, and don't be shocked, you heard it here first, don't be shocked if there is a reunion with Flaherty back to the Cardinals in some sort of trade there. I think the Cardinals at that price are very much alive to win the National League Central, so don't sleep on them as they get ready in a rain delay to take on the Braves. We'll have much more on what's going on in Major League Baseball when Game Time Decisions continues here on the Grid.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta. It's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
I feel like when there's this wind in this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
OMG, what did we just witness? Our first ever double playoff in Live Golf history. I am so pumped up right now.
So much happened on the last 5 minutes. I mean, it looked like it was going to the crushers and Annie Barton winning, and all of a sudden then Abraham holding a chip, David Puig birdie eight, then that little putt from Annie Barton on the last. I mean, it was great watching.
You know, it's really amazing to be able to do it in your home country, in front of my family, in front of so many friends, and on my favorite golf course. So it's obviously super nice.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions on this Friday here in the SportsGrid Network. And TikTok, people, the countdown is on. The NFL season will be here before we know it. Less than 50 days here now. And boy, oh boy, get ready. There is a lot to cover over the next couple of weeks when it comes to football. And we'll do a lot of that on In-Game Live All Access on the next couple of weekends. And when I say we, I mean my partner in crime, Matty Peralt, back. We finally figured out where he was. He's been MIA. We sent search teams, and apparently he wanted nothing to do with 120-degree weather. But he is back now because it has cooled down in Vegas a little bit, and we're glad they're Matty. But can you believe we're less than 50 days away from D-Day? It's crazy. I just don't know where it goes, man. I really don't.
First and foremost, good to see you. Good to be back. Saturday, Sunday will be fun with us, both tomorrow and Sunday, getting rolling with the NFL and everything else. Look, college football is going to come back first, so I'm not going to jump over that. I mean, the NFL camps are opening up, and there's tons of hype, and obviously the pick contests here in Vegas are rocking. Everyone's counting down to where we get going with those things, but the college football thing has got me as hot and bothered. We had the Big 12 media days were here in Vegas. We had the Mountain West Conference media days here in Vegas. So I'm really looking forward to week 0, which is way before week 1 in the NFL. We're what, 30 days, less than 30 days away from actual college football. So it's great to get it going and, get us through the doldrums here, because this is the dumps. Like this is hard to get through this.
Well, we're on the other side of the All-Star break now, which means get ready. Just a couple of more weeks of this. The Olympics is coming up. I don't know anybody that is going to watch that. But we should be interesting watching the men's basketball team throw up all over themselves. That's always fun here. But our boy Sharapan's at the Pirate game here tonight against the Phillies. Phillies, I think, just took the lead 4-3. With a home run here on these early games here. Yankees, Tampa, did you have any interest in these games early on?
Yeah, I'm on the Phillies money line. I mean, it's Aaron Nola against Martin Perez. So it wasn't that expensive. It was about 138 last night to lay it. So I jumped on the Phillies. It's so tough, though. The first game after the All-Star break, I mean, the Pirates can't score any runs, and yet they scored 3 runs on Nola. So that's like a wait a second moment for me on this, but that's just what happens when these teams, who knows what these guys were doing? Were they in Bora Bora? Were they working out? Were they just hanging out with their kids? Like what was the All-Star break for the guys who weren't in the All-Star game? So this is always like a treacherous day to bet because we have no idea what these players are going to look like. But I thought it was too cheap not to take Philadelphia, the best team from the first half of the season, up against a Pirate team that's pretty mediocre at home and just this year. So I'm on the Phillies money line. So far, so good. But man, I'm glad I didn't bet the under in this game because it's going to fly over.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. But no, look, that's it. They'll just score 4-3, and that'll be the end of it. But there were a couple of head-scratching lines here tonight, that being one of them with the Phillies. But the Dodgers at -130 at home with Gavin Stone on it, like what? I mean, the Red Sox are the most, and you notice that the most overachieving team so far that we have had. They didn't want the All-Star break. In fact, I bet you the Red Sox wish the All-Star break didn't happen because they had been rolling. But that's usually when teams like that maybe regress now a little bit after this reprieve here for the All-Star break.
I don't know. It's big game Nick Pivetta. I'm on the Red Sox. I got +120 last night. Gavin Stone's been average at home. Gavin Stone's been better on the road than Gavin Stone's been at home. And I got +120. It's down to +108 now on the Red Sox. I think the move came on Boston for good reason. Pivetta's been great on the road, been great in big spots for the Red Sox. And I think they've heard everyone question them. Like, okay, you got the MVP of the All-Star game. It's like Jarren Duran. Who? Like, who's Jarren Duran? Like, no one knows who these guys are. They're a bunch of kids who are doing some really big things. The Red Sox have had their rookies overachieve. Will that continue? I don't know, but this Dodger team wasn't playing great heading into the break. So coming out of the break, as long as Shohei doesn't hit like 3 home runs tonight, which I guess could happen. He took Tanner Houck deep during the All-Star game, so he likes Red Sox pitching, I guess. I like Boston here tonight to get on the plus money play. I took the +120 last night, and I know these are the numbers where you're like, why are the Dodgers not bigger favorites? Somebody knows something.
And the number 2 on Ohtani to hit a bomb here tonight was also inflated here a little bit. It's going to be interesting. Pivetta certainly, what's he got, like 90 strikeouts in his last 2 starts? But, I mean, let's face it, it was against the Marlins and the A's. So let's see how he does against the Dodgers here tonight. I feel like unders across the board here tonight. The Yankee total was 8.5. With Cole on the mound, I didn't understand that. I think Burns and Eovaldi finally came down. It was at 8. Now it's 7.5. It feels like maybe heading into this weekend, outside of this Phillies and Pirates game, of course, maybe unders are the lean here in a lot of spots here tonight.
Yeah, I'm on the Cardinals and the Braves under 7.5. But that rain delay really bothers me. I'm on the Braves money line as well, but I hate whenever rain delays kick up, I get really concerned. I'm like, my gosh, it throws the whole handicap out the window. It changes everything from a pitching perspective and how they're going to use their starters and how many innings are they going to go when they get up to pitch and then the game gets delayed. So that stinks from my perspective, but I'm with you. I do think there's a lot of under opportunities just because you would figure the arms would be rested coming out and, guys maybe weren't in the cage hitting live pitching during the All-Star break. It might take a game or 2 to get their eyes back.
Yeah, and that's, listen, I think the Rangers were playing. They finally started to put it together before the break. The Orioles are just happy they won 1 game against the Yankees. Nobody needed a break better than the Orioles, but they got a start in Texas here tonight. This is going to be a fun series, and I think this will go a long way into telling us whether Texas, should we take them serious, you think, Matt, in the second half? Are they a bet-on team for you?
I don't know, because the Astros are the team that concerns me the most in that division as to what are they going to do, because if they play the way they were playing at the end of the first half, they're the team to beat in the division. So Seattle's been taking on water. The Rangers have been, they're going to get their pitching back, as we know. They've got, they've already got Scherzer back, but they're going to get DeGrom back at some point. That plus 800, that's an interesting number, right? I mean, that's really tasty to come in and take an 8-1 Rangers team that's going to get pitching help back. The Astros are the team that I think most likely will wind up winning the division. But you want to tell me take an 8-1 on the Rangers? I'm not going to hate on it. I hate that word value, but there's got to be value on the Rangers at 8-1.
I agree with you. And then Houston, big series against Seattle. I mean, here we go again, right? They got Hunter Brown on the mound taking on Castillo here. Bullpens are all rested, right? This feels like another under. But can we trust Seattle here in this spot to get one right off the bat against Houston?
No, I like the Astros tonight, and I think this is where you have this veteran leadership team in the Astros. They basically stop and go, guys, okay, we've messed around enough in the first half. We played horribly in April and May. We've played much better since the summertime, and let's start scoring some runs. I mean, their offense has been very good in the months of May and June into July as well. So let's see what they do after the break. And the break wasn't that long. It's not like it's a 2-week hiatus. It's kind of a quick hiatus. These guys rest for 4 or 5 days and then get right back after it. So I like Houston tonight. I like Houston to win this series. Seattle, if I'm a Mariner fan, I'm very concerned about not just the pitching, but the hitting as well. Just they haven't been performing the way that they were early in the year.
Yeah, I'm with you. And give me the strike. I don't care what the number is with Brown. He struck out 9 Seattle Mariners and only gave up a run last time. I got no problem taking his over strikeout prop in this one here tonight. And then, of course, I know you and Dane are coming up. You're very excited about the A's and Angels series here. I know you'll have plenty on that, Matt, coming up. I know that's going to be a good hour and a half.
Are the A's moving here? So I want to know.
You hope not.
I don't want them to, but they keep on acting like I don't think they're moving here now. It's crazy. It's really nuts. It's wild.
Nope. Somebody already sold the land. Sorry, too late. You got no place to put you. Matty, I appreciate it as all. Get ready. Matt Peral, Dane Martinez coming up top of the hour. We'll come back with more here on Game Time Decisions.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta. It's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
I feel like when there's this wind in this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
OMG, what did we just witness? Our first ever double playoff in Live Golf history. I am so pumped up right now.
So much happened on the last 5 minutes. I mean, it looked like it was going to the crushers and anybody winning, and all of a sudden then Abraham holding a chip, David Puig birdie, then that little putt from Anivan on the last. I mean, it was great watching.
It's really amazing to be able to do it in your home country, in front of my family, in front of so many friends, and on my favorite golf course. So it's obviously super nice.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on this Friday. A loaded weekend in store as we welcome back Major League Baseball. Games underway already here. Yankees hit into another double play, and I believe they now lead the American League in double plays because of how fast they are. But it's still no score there. Yankees and Rays. 1-0 Reds over the Nats. knotted up for a piece with the Phillies and the Pirates, and we welcome in live from Atlanta, Mark Zinno here. And Zin, you're telling me the rain is there to stay, so there's probably a good chance this Cardinals Atlanta game you don't think gets played here tonight.
I mean, I only live 5 miles from the stadium, and it's pouring outside my house, or at least, it was 20 minutes ago. So it may break up here, but it doesn't look good. We're not seeing any signs of clear skies anytime soon when I look out my window here. So, it was a spot that I kind of like the Braves, believe it or not. Schwellenbach has been really good in his last 2 outings. He's won them both against good teams in the Phillies and the Padres, and maybe started to turn the corner here a little bit. But, the Braves bats are always a tough bet on at this point in time. Unless we was talking about it today on local radio, unless all of a sudden you believe they're going to snap out of it in the second half, I still don't trust this offense. I mean, you have Matt Olson, who's batting .229. You got Ozzie Albies, who's batting .215. You got Austin Riley, who's batting .230. I mean, these guys are just not hitting the ball. So this is not an offense I want to back all that often. But tonight kind of felt like a decent spot at home.
Yeah, and listen, I'm not a big believer in Milwaukee. I think all those injuries to those when you got to sign Dallas Keuchel, you know how bad a shape they are in, and that's and it's my same fear with the Dodgers in this second half. With all the you look at the who's who of arms they have on the IL. I mean, you can't just keep rolling guys off the street, whether you're the Brewers or the Dodgers, and think it's all going to work out in the end here. And the Dodgers they got the Red Sox at home, but at least they've got one of their better pitchers on the mound here tonight. How are you looking at this one?
Yeah, but is Gavin Stone really one of the better pitchers? I mean, look, I look at it from this perspective. I took the Red Sox first 5 here on the run line plus a half. This was a spot here against Gavin Stone, who has been worse at home than he is on the road. His 3.67 ERA is nearly a run higher at home this year. And in 9 starts, he's 3-1, but he's gotten some run support. And, oh, by the way, 2 of those 3 wins came against the Marlins and the Rockies. So he hasn't really lived up to the competition when pitching against elite level talent here. He's giving up batting average, opposing batters are hitting .266 against him at home. He's given up more home runs at home than he has on the road. He's got more walks at home than he does on the road. So this was a spot here with the Red Sox team that's very good offensively on the road for me to take them here against Gavin Stone. Like, I don't want to give the Dodgers 9 at-bats in this game, so it fits really well. And Pivetta, who starts for the Red Sox, has been much better on the road this year than he has at home. So it all kinds of lines up here that the Red Sox get an early lead. Also wouldn't mind looking at the Red Sox over 1.5 in the first 5.
So what are we doing here with Kansas City back home? They're always a place we want to try to look because they can't play on the road, but they can certainly score runs at home. They got their Mr. Machine Walker on the mound going up against Flexen. Obviously not running to lay 225 here, but they should certainly have enough to win this game and probably look at a team total in this spot.
I would just look at the total overall because I don't really trust Michael Wacha. 3.83 ERA, a 1.24 whip. Both of these guys have whips over 1.25. They're going to be base runners all night long. That's just the reality of the situation here. So, it's obviously correlated. If the Royals don't go over 5, guess what? This thing isn't going over 8.5. But I just don't know how much I trust Wacha to hold on to a lead. Again, that's independent of the team total, so I don't hate that play overall, especially when you add in the White Sox bullpen. So, but I would look at the total for the game or a team total for KC.
Big series coming up here for both these teams. Texas and Baltimore getting ready at the top of the hour. And it's a pretty good pitching battle here, too. But let me ask you this, crazy as it sounds, which lineup do you trust more right now?
I buy on Texas. I've been telling you that for like the last 2 or 3 weeks of the first half, that I thought they were a team to buy on. You saw them start to get right offensively, score a lot more runs. They get their best start on the mound, Nathan Eovaldi tonight. I know they're going up against Corbin Burns, who's been excellent, but this is a spot here where the Texas Rangers really got to start to make a move early before the deadline. And even though it's against Baltimore, who lost 5 in a row before snapping the losing streak in the final game of the first half, I just, the Orioles don't look like the team that we saw for the first 2 months, at least at this point in time. Could they snap out of it after the break? Sure. I took Texas plus 1.5 here. I got it very early this morning at minus 135. I felt in a really good spot with it, and you get the best bet in baseball taking the 1.5 here. So with the Rangers, I just feel like at home they're starting to score more runs, and they can keep up batting average wise or batting wise with the Baltimore Orioles. And you get 2 starters here with a low scoring game. The 1.5 even sort of feels a little bit more paramount.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating. I do think we're going to get a few more unders than overs. I think over the next couple of days, as a lot of teams are going to be looking around the locker room, going, "Am I even going to be here in another week?" It's a pretty rough time for teams that are already out of it. As the Nats have just taken a lead 2-1 over the Reds. But what do you think here in this late game with Houston and Seattle? This is going to be a fun one. Hunter Brown, strikeouts over, under game, under team total. What are we doing in this one?
I think the wrong team is favored here, Joe.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm taking Houston on the money line. Look, Hunter Brown has only given up more than 3 runs in 2 starts since May 22nd. This guy has turned his season around. So I like him a lot. Castillo's numbers aren't great. And I trust the Houston bats a lot more than I trust Seattle. A lot of these games are low scoring, but give me the Astros here and Hunter Brown.
Like your studio, we approve. All right, Mark Zinno, always a pleasure, my man, to see you here. We've got baseball back. We'll close it out here, give you a couple more best bets as Game Time Decisions.
One of the many exciting things about joining Live was being able to come here and play in front of a Spanish crowd, especially on a level of event and level of competition that I hadn't really yet enjoyed, right? I've been able to play events in Spain.
Here in the beautiful Valderrama, which some say is the European Augusta, it's so special. There's so much history here. There's so much Spanish history here.
Well, it has so much history behind. It's only a 50 years old club, but so much has happened through the years. I mean, we had the Ryder Cup, we had World Gold Championships, and now we have Live.
1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
I feel like when there's this wind in this golf course is so difficult that it's equally stressful no matter when or where you're playing it. But it was fun. It's always fun to be back home and be with the home crowd. It's always a joy to have this many people supporting me all day. It's so much fun.
OMG, what did we just witness? Our first ever double playoff in Live Golf history. I am so pumped up right now.
So much happened on the last 5 minutes. I mean, it looked like it was going to the crushers and Annie Barton winning, and all of a sudden then Abraham holding a chip, David Puig birdie, then that little putt from Annie Barton on the last. I mean, it was great watching.
It's really amazing to be able to do it in your home country, in front of my family, in front of so many friends, and on my favorite golf course. So it's obviously super nice.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network as we are getting ready for a full weekend here of Major League Baseball. Can you believe it? It is back, and we've got a lot to be decided, not just tonight, but over the next couple of weeks, because that trade deadline is coming, and there are an awful lot of teams, in fact, more teams that are looking for help, that are very much in the race here for the postseason, especially since they've expanded the postseason. And there's a lot of teams now that might be on that cusp that say, you know what? Let's go for it. Let's see if we can add a couple of pieces here before the break. Not to mention you're going to be competing against the wealthiest teams in Major League Baseball. The Yankees certainly going to be looking to improve that bullpen. Would be great if they could find, like maybe a Tommy Pham or somebody that can go ahead and actually run, play a little defense in the outfield and hit for average. That would be great. But the pitching is really what's going to be at the top of everyone's mind here. And there are going to be, whether it be Jack Flaherty, whether it be Tariq Skubal, whether it be Olsen, whether it be, who knows, a Berrios or a Bassett, or any number of guys that could very well crochet from the White Sox. There's only so many teams that can spend beyond recognition in order to go get what they want. The question is, which ones will actually do it? I think we're all comfortable in saying the Dodgers will spend whatever they have to spend in order to be able to help them go out and get some help in that rotation. I am not kidding when I say they lead Major League Baseball. Them and the Milwaukee Brewers are the two teams that lead Major League Baseball in the different amount of pitchers that they have had to use so far this year. Both are well over 40 different pitchers. They've got injuries up and down those rotations, and nobody knows. Is Kershaw, just going to snap his fingers and show up? Yamamoto, there is not sounding promising there. Walker Buehler, also not promising. So the Dodgers need to spend money to go out and get whatever they need if they are going to make a run at this. Not to mention, it would help if they could get Mookie Betts back. That would be a big help. But I definitely think the Baltimore Orioles, the Dodgers, the Yankees, and I wouldn't sleep on Atlanta doing what they need to do as well in order to try to improve that roster and try to catch the Phillies. So a lot is going to be determined between now and the deadline, which is July 30th, which means we've only got another, another 10 days, 11 days. Do not be shocked when the news starts to break here as teams start trying to put together those final rosters to make a push towards the postseason. The Mets won't be a part of that, apparently, because they can't seem to beat the Marlins for some reason here. 2-0 right now. Marlins on top of the Mets, bottom of the third. The unders are reigning true here pretty well right now. Guardians and Padres also in the bottom of the third with no score there. Boy, the Guardians with the best record in the American League at the break. How many of you saw that happening here? And I do think maybe the Padres could very well be buyers coming up in the next 10, 11 days as well. The Tigers have just hit a bomb off of Chris Bassett. They are up now 3-0 over the Blue Jays. We still have no score with the Yankees and the Rays, and just a terrible inning for Frankie Montas. Told you that fade Patrick Corbin day. Don't fall for it. The Nats 4, Reds 1, heading to the bottom of the fifth inning there. And just like that, the Phillies have added a couple of more runs, and they are up 6-4 here. So that game looks like a surefire over here in that one. I would not expect an over in the Angels and the Athletics. That game coming up tonight, 9:40 Eastern time, first pitch there. I would not expect an over with the Astros and the Mariners there with Hunter Brown and Castillo. I would not expect an over with Pivetta and Gavin Stone either with the Red Sox and the Dodgers. And, of course, Orioles, Rangers. That game is coming up, much anticipated there. Good news, though, is we've got in-game live primetime coming up next. Dane Martinez, Matt Peralt. They will have you covered with all the action. And, of course, Game Time Decisions will be back again tomorrow. Until then, enjoy your night. We'll see you again soon. Good luck.